我是阿万。一起来看特朗普会成为坡脚丫总统吗？Congressional Republicans Begin to look beyond Trump， 这是一个很有意思的标题。如果你还没有订阅我，麻烦订阅、按赞，谢谢。特朗普总统一向违背政治的吸引力法则，那些足以击垮其他任何政客的挫败，似乎对他也无效，而且他也不受传统竞选周期涨落的影响。但他在公布爱泼斯坦档案一事上的屈服，以及最近的其他事态发展表明，在国会层面上，这位总统至少也受到一些与他前任相同的政治潮流的影响。他作为坡脚丫总统的初步迹象已经显现。那国会共和党人愿意违抗特朗普，支持相关立法，公开要求以定罪性犯罪者特朗普曾经的朋友杰弗里·爱泼斯坦的联邦档案，是迄今最明显的证据，表明共和党议员开始把目光投向特朗普任期之后，优先考虑自己在明年中期选举中的自保。还有其他迹象，特别是参议院共和党人在政府停摆斗争中拒绝屈从特朗普废除拖延战术的要求。此外，特朗普积极推动众议院选区重划，以求巩固共和党控制，防止民主党接管，从而威胁总统，但遭到一些州的抵制。特朗普此前对共和党国会的铁腕掌控，可能比通常情况更早出现松动。以往更多是中期选举之后才出现总统失权的情况。共和党人正在对本月稍早的非大选年选举中本党的惨败做出实时反应，只是败选远超预期。那民调还显示，特朗普和共和党在多个领域开始显出疲态。在进入决定国会控制权的2026选举周期之际，美国人普遍提到生活成本上升以及对经济的悲观看法，而特朗普曾承诺会为他们解决这些问题。凭借极右翼票仓的极高支持率，总统仍然对共和党拥有超乎寻常的掌控力。观察人士也及时指出，他的政治力量曾屡次经历看似衰退的时刻，但还是存活了下来。但即使共和党人也承认，鉴于总统权力的历史规律及其迅速消散的特性，一场可能不可避免的转变正在发生。如果这件事没有发生，那他才是那个例外。北达他州共和党参议员凯文·克拉默说，越接近中期选举以及之后，每个人在衡量自己所在的州和国会选区，也许大家会表现出更强的独立性。肯塔基州共和党众议员托马斯·马西不顾总统的政治威胁和恶毒人身攻击，强行推动爱泼斯坦法案投票。他对同僚的警告或许最简洁有力。这次投票的记录会比唐奈德·特朗普的总统任期持续更久。马西在 ABC 本周节目中说，他提醒同僚不要因为特朗普坚持而把自己置于同意，用他的话说，保护娈童者的姿态。数十名共和党议员听进了警告，马西的爱泼斯坦法案获得通过已成定局。特朗普在最后一刻被迫支持该法案，以免遭受耻辱性失败，从而进一步显露弱势。马西明年初选将面对特朗普支持的对手，如果在任者获胜，将是对总统的真正打击，并削弱特朗普对犹豫不决的共和党人最有力的武器。在众多国会席位的初选中，支持挑战者的威胁。共和党人还将密切关注佐治亚州共和党众议员马乔丽·泰勒·格林的命运。他在爱泼斯坦案处理问题上与特朗普戏剧性的决裂，并认为这位美国优先总统对外事务过于重视。他的共和党同僚会去衡量反对总统是否真像长期以来认为的 那样是政治生命的终结。随着明年候选人登记截止日期和初选的过去，总统的影响力可能进一步减弱，除非经济形势和他的支持率回升，否则共和党人将越来越不愿盲目追随他。政治评论员前贝拉克·奥巴马高级顾问戴维·阿克塞尔罗德表示，一旦各州选举报名期结束，共和党人摆脱了他可能施加的初选挑战威胁，这一趋势还会加速。这种态势几乎肯定会影响下个月关于延长即将到期的医保补贴的辩论。民主党人曾试图在政府重开协议中保留这些补贴，但未能成功。特朗普和大多数共和党人反对延长相关税收减免，但尚未提出替代方案。但有几位明年面临连任、地位不稳的共和党议员及投票支持某种形式的延长方案，担心因保费飙升而遭到选民指责。目前总统的地位削弱，以及本月共和党在中期选举中的失利，已导致参众两院共和党领袖之间出现裂痕。此前他们一直团结一致，迅速执行特朗普的各项要求。面对民主党可能取得的进展，特朗普在众议院院长麦克约翰逊的支持下，要求废除拖延战术程序，但参议院共和党人拒绝放弃这一他们眼中抵御民主党掌控的最有力程序性武器。随后在约翰逊呼吁参议院共和党人按照特朗普的要求修改爱泼斯坦相关法案后，南达科他州共和党议员多数党领袖的约翰·图恩迅速拒绝。参议院最终未进行任何投票，更不用说提出修正案，就快速通过了该法案，极力摆脱这一议题，却在此过程中惹恼了议长。图恩表示，参众两院有时会有不同的优先事项，不过总体上是仍保持一致。总统仍拥有巨大权力，且能赢得数千万 MAGA 阵营选民的坚定拥护。这一事实赋予了他对共和党的影响力。即便党内对即将到来的选举日益担忧，但他依然能够继续试图将自己的意愿强加给国会山。归根到底，当遇到重大投票且票数接近时，他总能力挽狂澜。克拉默表示，对总统而言，问题在于随着共和党人将目光投向2026年自身政治生存以及后特朗普时代，他这样的影响力还能持续多久？那你又是怎么看呢？欢迎订阅和按赞、按喜欢，谢谢。Congressional Republicans Begin to look beyond Trump. President Trump has always feared the loss of political gravity, seemingly impressors to setbacks that would sink any other figure immune from the traditional ebb and flow of campaign cycles. But his capitulation in the fight over releasing the Epstein files and other recent developments suggest that when it comes to Congress, the president is subject to at least some of the same currents as his predecessors, as the first signs of his dark statue emerge. The willingness of congressional Republicans to defy Mr. Trump and back legislation requiring the disclosure of federal files on Jeffrey Epstein, the convicted sex offender and one-time Trump friend, was the clearest evidence yet that GOP lawmakers are starting to look beyond Mr. Trump's tenure to their self-preservation in midterm elections next year. There are other signs as well, notably the refusal by Senate Republicans to bow to Mr. Trump's demand to guard the filibuster during the shutdown fights, and resistance in some states to his intense push to redraw House district maps to circumvent the GPO's hold and prevent a Democratic takeover that would imperil the president. Mr. Trump's previously autocrat grip on the Republican Congress might even be weakening earlier than usual before the more typical loss of power by a sitting president following midterm elections. Republicans are reacting in real time to the driving their party took in off-year elections earlier this month, defeats that were much worse than anticipated. Polling also shows Mr. Trump and his party in a weakened state on a number of fronts headed into a 2026 election cycle that will determine control of Congress, with Americans citing rising costs and a dull view of the economy that Mr. Trump has pledged to fix to their benefit. The president continues to hold an outsized grip on his party given his massive popularity with his far-right base, and observers are quick to caution that his political strength has survived through many episodes when it had appeared to be waning. But even Republicans concede that there is a shift underway that was probably inevitable, given the history of presidential power and the rapidity with which it can dissipate. He'd be the outlier if it didn't happen, said Senator Kevin Cramer, Republican of North Dakota. The closer you get to the midterms and then beyond, everybody is measuring their own state and a congressional district, and maybe people are a little more independent. Representative Sharon Massey, the Kentucky Republican who forced to abstain vote in the face of Republican stress and causes person attacks from the president, perhaps said it most subsistently as he warned his colleague about the risk of standing with the president at all costs. The recall of this vote will last longer than Donald Trump's presidency, Mr. Massey said on ABC this week, reminding his colleague that they would avoid putting themselves in the posture of agreeing to protect pedophiles, as he put it, because Mr. Trump insisted they do so. Scores of them took heed as approval of Mr. Massey's abstain legislation because of certainty, and Mr. Trump found himself forced to back the legislation at the last minute rather than suffer a mortifying defeat and look even weaker. Mr. Massey now faces a primary next year against a Trump-backed opponent. A victory by the incumbent would be a real blow to the president and undermine Mr. Trump's most powerful weapon against wavering Republicans, the threat of endorsing a challenger in the primary elections that decide so many congressional races these days. Republicans will also be close watching how Representative General Tyler Greene, Republican of Georgia, fails after her dramatic break with Mr. Trump over his handling of the Afghanistan case and what he sees as the American first president's undue emphasis on foreign affairs. Fellow Republicans will want to gauge if opposition to the president is really the political destiny it has long been perceived to be. The president's leverage could diminish even more as candidates feeling deadlines and promise past next year. Unless the economy and his numbers rebound, Republicans are going to feel less willing to follow him blindly, said David Asloth, the political commentator and former top advisor to Barack Obama, and that trend will accelerate once election feeding period pass in individual status and they are clear of potential primary challenges he holds over their heads. The dynamic is all but certain to influence the debate next month on extending expiring health care subsidies that Democrats tried and failed to pressure as part of a deal to reopen the government. Mr. Trump and most Republicans oppose extending the tax breaks and have yet to propose an alternative plan, but several valuable GOP lawmakers facing re-election next year are eager to vote in favor of some version of an extension for fears of being blamed by voters for soaring premiums. For now, the president's weakened standing and response of years Republican defense have helped contribute to rift between the GOP leaders of the House and Senate, who had previously been unified in speedily doing whatever Mr. Trump demanded. Looking down the road at potential Democratic gains, Senate Republicans refused to give up the filibuster, the procedural weapon they view as their most potent defense against Democratic control. In spite of demands for Mr. Trump, cheered on by Speaker Mike Johnson to do so. Then, after Mr. Johnson called on Senate Republicans to abandon the Afghanistan bill in line with change sought by Mr. Trump, Senator Johnson, the South Dakota Republican and Majority Leader, quickly declined. The Senate ultimately sped the bill through without any sort of vote, let alone any amendment, eager to be rid of it, but irritating the Speaker in the process. Mr. Trump said the two chambers sometimes have different imperatives, though they are generally still in sign. The president continues to wield immense power and can claim the firm against the tens of billions of MEGA alleged voters, a fact that gives him clout with president and will continue to allow him to try to impose his will on Capitol Hill, even as nominees grows within his party about the coming elections. At the end of the day, where there is a big vote and a close, narrow margin, he pulls it out, Mr. Kamala said. The question for the president will be how long he can continue to do as the Republicans turn towards 2026, their own survivor in a post-Trump world. Thanks for your listening and hoping your life doing happiness and and everything. And please subscribe me and give me a like, or maybe doing a comment is also very great for you and me. A lot. Thanks.